Well, you can see me, but I cannot see you. You're kind of in dark, and I'm in the light. I said this because I lived I say I lived in North Korea for 2 years, actually 735 days. I was detained in North Korea 2012 by leading prayer groups into North Korea. I was a missionary to China first. I organized tours to North Korea to bring in Christians to North Korea to pray and remember the people in North Korea who are often being forgotten. Do you know there are 25 million people living in North Korea right now, and they have no access to outside the world? So we went to North Korea to see the land and pray for the people and worship in behalf of North Koreans, and also love the people as Christ loved us. I organized tours into North Korea. We went everywhere in North Korea. About 300 people from 17 different nations participated, over 23 different trips to North Korea. And through that, we walked around, claimed the land for Jesus. We pray, we worship, we love the people. At the end of the 1 year, 2012, in November, I was detained in North Korea. I was detained because I made a mistake by carrying in a portable computer hard drive into the countries. It was just happened to be in my briefcase, and they discovered some of the content on my hard drive was offending to them. I had some documentary film about North Korea. It was made by Western media. So when they discovered it, they were very upset by it, and I was detained, and they wanted to know more about my involvements in North Korea. I explained to them I simply made a mistake. I didn't mean to offend anybody, but they still detained me. I had to go through questioning day by day. I was pretty much being investigated every day for about a month or so, from early morning on to late at night. I was detained by the National Security Bureau of North Korea. So they have a very infamous reputation. When you get caught by them, it's not a good news. So one day, on the third day, they make me stand in the middle of the room. I had to stand still without moving. But if you're standing still, you got to move a little bit. So if I move a little bit, they see me from the camera, and then they walk into the room and just yell at me and just do not move. You have to stand absolutely still. So I was standing still for hours. But something amazing thing happened. My back wasn't hurting, my leg wasn't hurting, I wasn't tired, I wasn't sleepy, I wasn't even hungry. But inside, I was terrified. I didn't know what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to people I brought into North Korea. It was not just about me, but others were involved. And also, I was thinking about any way out of this situation, but I couldn't think about it. So I was just asking why this has happened. I brought 300 people into North Korea. God protected everybody, but what happened to me at the end? And then I started asking the Lord, where are you? Because He was with me all this time. And then I was anxious, terrified, not knowing what to do. Suddenly my hand was getting warm, my left hand. And then I kind of opened my palm. I saw something sparkling like a gold dust. And then the warmth started to spread into my left arm. I have no idea what was happening. And then the Lord spoke to me, Holy Spirit is holding your hand. He's standing next to you. Do not fear, because I am with you. I will never leave you, never forsake you. And then He was reminding me that cast all your anxieties upon me, because I care for you. And He reminded me that this is happening for a reason. And no one will be harmed through this. So do not fear, because there's something I need to do through this. Suddenly all the anxiety is gone, all the fear is gone. Suddenly I felt the presence of God in the room. I felt the peace of God is coming over. I felt so joy. When you're in the presence of God, you have just overwhelming joy is coming over. I would start rejoicing. I was just rejoicing in the Lord. And instead of, and I started smiling because I was thinking that if God is with me, who can be against me? And after God has left me, He said, no, I am with you. And I started smiling, and they saw me smiling through the camera. And then they walk into the room and say, you know what? It's not working. This guy's smiling. And they walk into the room and say, just go to bed. You don't need to stand anymore. So from that moment on, I didn't have to stand still anymore following days. I lay down on my bed, and I had tears dripping down because I thought that God has left me. I was abandoned by God. That's what I felt like. But the Lord said, no, I am with you, Kenneth. See, just be brave. Just tell the truth. Next day, I found out the people I brought in were able to leave the country safely. I said, I'm ready to tell the truth. I'm a missionary. I'm a pastor. I brought people here to pray and worship. This is what I've done. And they said, you have done something terrible to us. And so you need to tell us who sent you. And I said, God. Who's above you? I said, God. No, beside God, who else is there? And I said, nobody. And we were going back and forth, and they say, you know what you have done? You tried to overthrow our government. I said, what do you mean by that? How do I try to overthrow your government? And they said, through prayer and worship. I said, excuse me, you don't believe in God. Why do you believe in prayer? You have more faith than most Christians do. The many Christians do not pray. We don't really believe that prayer can do something about it. Because I brought 300 intercessors from 17 different nations to pray for people in North Korea. Now they're accusing me I was trying to overthrow the government of North Korea. And they said, you have done something terrible to us. I actually trained one North Korean person. She went back to North Korea, start an orphanage. So I asked them, she just wanted to start an orphanage in North Korea. Why is it a crime against the state? This is what they said. If one person become Christian, come back and start an orphanage, and 10 children will become a Christian. 10 will become 100, 100 will become 10,000 some days. When that happens, do you think they're going to be a threat to us or not? I said, maybe. See, what you have done is you tried to inject us with Christian virus into our countries. Virus will spread, people will be infected, and they will lose a heart in our government and our leader. Everybody will turn to God. This country will become a God's country. When he said that, I felt like it was Lord spoke to me himself. Yes, one person can transform the nation. Yes, prayer can transform the nations. And they said, you may be the most dangerous American criminal we ever apprehended since Korean War. Because not only you try to do mission work, you train, mobilize, you send people into North Korea to pray. Therefore, we must punish you, make an example out of you. You will face death penalty or life in prison. You will never be able to go home. You will pay for your crime. And later on, they sent me to Pyongyang, the capital city, and I was charged with a crime against the state. And I received 15 years of hard labor sentence. I was the first Americans sent to North Korea prison since Korean War. So when I went to the prison, I realized that this is only for foreigners only. There are more than 30 to 40 guards and staffs are working at this prison, but I was the only prisoner there for the whole time. So I received a lot of attention from many people there. So I got up in the morning from 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening every day, 6 days a week. I have to work outside because of labor camp. I have to do a lot of farming work, digging the ground, shovelings, and many different type of hard labor I have to endure. When like in the summertime, it's about 100 degrees outside. It's like it's kind of like Houston here. It's like 100% humidity, and you are working outside. 10 hours a day. It is very, very difficult to do so. But in the winter time, it's about maybe about 10 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Fahrenheit or so on. So it's very, very cold. I still have to endure the hard labor there. So in nighttime, when I'm about to go to sleep, it's hard to go to sleep because they kept the light on. My back is hurting, leg is hurting, and I had arthritis pains. I have to get up every hour. I shook my hand like this, and then went back to sleep every hours. And then there's no mosquito net or any screen on the window. Therefore, I have to kill about $200 a day. Just go to sleep. So you can imagine, it's like a scene from one of those horror movies. So it was difficult. The Lord promised me on the third day of my detainment that I am with you, Kenneth. I will bring you home. Don't worry about it. But 7 months later, I'm in labor camp. I'm suffering. I'm dying there literally. So I asked God, where are you, God? Lord, you told me. So just, Lord, at least tell me how long will this suffering will last. But this is what the Lord spoke to me instead. Kenneth, even suffering is beneficial for you. I didn't like his answer. I want to go home. He could end my suffering. Instead of ending my suffering, he said, no, even suffering is beneficial for you. But my grace is sufficient for you. When you're weak, I am strong. I am still with you. I didn't know back then why I had to suffer, why I have to endure sufferings. But now I know, without that suffering, without the experience, probably not able to even speak tonight to you. The Lord has continued to remind me that I was there for Him. And then continue spending time with the Lord. Every morning I pray, worship. I have my Bible with me, so I was able to read my Bible, ask God to speak to me daily. And then on Sunday, they make me sit in the chair and watch TV all day long. I have to watch from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on 13-hour TV days. By the way, there's only one TV channel. It's all about their leaders. So when you're watching it, I'm start daydreaming, and I just don't want to watch him all the time. So I just wanted to daydream something enjoyable. So one thing that I was thinking about is food, and because food there's not much food there, so I was always hungry. So I was thinking about, what am I craving the most? And then I was thinking, Hawaiian chocolate with macadamia nut. That would be the wonderful to have. And the second thing was Kit Kat. The third thing was beef jerky from Costco. And then the fourth thing was a protein bar, energy bar. Fifth thing was mixed nut. But where can I get a Hawaiian chocolate in North Korea prison? I just think about it. I just smile. I didn't even pray. 3 months later, I was sent to the hospital because of malnutrition. I lost more than 50 pounds in 3 months. I actually passed out. I was working outside. They sent me to the hospital. I was recovering there for several months. And then my mom from Seattle, who was in Seattle, came to visit me. So it was a very emotional visit. We just had an emotional reunion. And the second day she came back to see me. And then she said, I brought you something. She opened her bag. First thing she took out was Hawaiian chocolate with macadamia nut. Second thing was Kit Kat. Third thing was beef jerky from Costco. The fourth thing was protein bar. Fifth thing was mixed nut. She didn't bring anything else for food. I didn't pray. I didn't call my mom. I didn't write to her. I didn't tell anybody. I even forgot the fact that I thought about this. It was 5 months ago. But apparently, God remembered. Our God is a good God. He's a living God. In U.S., in China, in North Korea. He reminded me, see, Kenneth, I am with you. That, see, I made you, I created you, so I know the craving of your heart, even your stomach. Then know that I am your God. I realized that our God is worth even going to prison for. His God is worth trusting my life for. See, I was there for about a year, but no sign of going home. And then the U.S. envoy was supposed to come. It was canceled. 1 week later, another envoy showed up from White House. It was a secret visit. And pretty much this is what he said. We met for 5 minutes. And he said, I'm sorry, Kenneth. And he left without me. And I was really devastated because I'm still here after 1 year. I'm in hospital. And then my mom's letter arrived, and she wrote like this: Kenneth, you need a faith like Daniel's 3 friends. Our God is able to save us, even He does not, even if you need that kind of faith. So I knew I wasn't going home anytime soon. So there's one question I've been wanting to ask God for a long time. Lord, do you really want me to stay here? Is it your will for me to be here? But I could not ask that question because I did not want Him to answer the questions. But a long time I've been pondering about it. Finally, after 3 weeks, I knelt down on my hospital bed. I pray like this: Lord, you know my heart. I want to go home. Think about the family waiting for me. Think about all the people praying for me. I must go home, but not my will, but your will be done, Lord. I lay down my right to go home. Use me, O Lord. This was probably the most difficult prayer I ever prayed in my whole life. And the Lord spoke to me: Kenneth, do you love me? Do you love me more? When He said this, I realized that, do you love me more than your wife, your children, your ministry, everything you've been living for in your life? Do you love me more? I knew deep down I did not do that. But I said, yes. Then feed my sheep, take care of my lamb. There are 30 or 40 people around me. I only saw them as oppressor. Someone was limiting my freedom. But Lord said, these are the lost sheep that I have sent you for. You are not here as a prisoner. You are here as my son, representing my kingdom. You are the missionary I have sent you here for. And Lord, help me. I don't know how. I don't know what to do. And Lord starting to do His work. They usually call me my prison number, 103s. And then people started opening their heart, and God is started speaking to them, to me, and to them, and so in vice versa. And suddenly they start coming to me, Pastor, can I talk to you? Pastor. And they're talking about their family problem issues. I'm doing a family counseling, marriage counseling, premarital counselings, and I become their pastors. And they started asking questions like, Pastor, if I believe in God like you, what do I get? What's the benefit? The other guy is saying, if I believe in God like you, what do I have to pay to your church? Is that a membership fee? Yes, of course, there is a membership fee. No, I didn't say that. No, I say, yes, there is offerings, and but more importantly, you need to give your life to God. I was there for 2 years. And finally, one man asked me, you said God is real. How come you're still here then? You pray, God listened to you. How come you're still here? No one stayed this long before. I say, maybe God has a different plan. Maybe without me, how are you going to hear about God or anything from outside? And he said, it is true. I never heard anything like this before in my life. See, when I was being questioned in first month, one investigator asked me, I heard about God before, never heard about Jesus before, so tell me, where does Jesus live? In Korea or China? I know many of you are from China, right? Anybody heard about Jesus in China? Oh, of course. This was a real question he was asking. He wasn't joking. Where does Jesus live? He said, I never heard the name Jesus. The reason why I'm standing up here is because of this. There's 25 million people living in North Korea, which is right next to China, sharing 1,000-kilometer border. People living in North Korea, it's been divided for 70 years now. Now, people have no access named Jesus. This guy who asked me this question was born in Pyongyang, went to college in Pyongyang. He worked for the National Security Bureau. He never heard about name Jesus. Now I'm working with many North Korean refugees who fled North Korea and now living in South Korea. I met hundreds of people. I have not met anyone who heard about name Jesus before they came out from North Korea. What happened here? Sometime in 1960s, they erased the name Jesus. Why is that? You cannot find name Jesus anywhere. not newspaper, books, movies, any media, no name Jesus available in North Korea. There's no access to the internet, by the way, right? So how are they going to know? Unless someone go. How are they going to hear? Unless someone care. 1960s, someone raised the name Jesus out because Jesus is the way and truth and life. No one can come to the Father except through His name. So they take out the name Jesus out. What will happen to them? How are they going to find the way? How are they going to find the truth? How are they going to seek to have a life? So Lord reminded me that I was there for the reason. But He said, but I cannot preach the gospel because if I preach the gospel, someone say, I want to accept Jesus like you, they will arrest him, his parents, his children, 3 generations will be killed. That's the penalty becoming Christian in North Korea. And He said, no, just live out the gospel. Do not preach the gospel. Be a little Jesus to them. You may be the only Jesus they will ever get to see in their lifetime. It was a difficult process to do that. How do I live out the Jesus in prison? Everybody's shouting and yelling. It's not like I'm in the 5-star hotel like here. It's North Korea prison. People are mean, right? When I say mean, it's actually kind word. I'm an enemy there, trying to overthrow the government in their eyes. Suddenly, so I just asked, Lord, help me to live like you, Lord. Help me not to dishonor your name today. It was a very difficult process to live out the gospel as a little Jesus to them. I was, one day I was working on the field and I was told that and there's somebody's coming from America to get me home in 2 days. I said, finally, I'm going home. I was going to say, yes. I was saying goodbye to everybody. It's been great. You know, I didn't say that. I said, thank you, everybody. I even sang a farewell song, and they said, no, do not sing such a sad song. You should stay longer. We like having you here. You should talk to us some more. Why do you want to go home so early? You only been here for 2 years. But in 2 days, U.S. envoy could not come. I was devastated. But Lord reminded me that giving up right to go home is not something you do one time. You have to do it every day. Choosing to love God more is not something you do one time. You have to do it every day. I came back home. I'm doing a workshop tomorrow morning. If you want to hear the rest of the story, you can come to that. I came back home because God's time came on time. It was 2014, November 8th, I was able to come home. The Lord reminded me that how many people around the world pray for me. Millions of people pray for me, remember me when I was in North Korea. And then He said, I have not forgotten you, and people around the world have not forgotten you. And I have not forgotten the people in North Korea. So go home and tell the world what I've done for you. Tell them as people pray for me, pray for the people in North Korea. God will answer the prayer. God will rescue, as He rescued me, rescue North Korean people. God will restore His people again. God will rebuild His nation once again. And when people remember, care, and stand for the people in North Korea. I'm asking you this night that as you represent Chinese churches, I know most of you are from here in the United States. But as you remember the people in North Korea, remember someone needs to care for them. What can we do for them? One is we need to remember the people who are suffering. Now I'm going around the world, asking people to pray for the people in North Korea and then stand with them because there are human rights issues, there are all kind of things that they're enduring right this time. But I'm asking people to pray for them because every time I go somewhere to pray, somewhere to preach, someone will come up to me and say, I pray for you. I remembered you when you were in North Korea. I go to many different nations now. Every single places that I speak, someone will come to me. Millions of people. 177,000 people signed the petition for my release to President Obama. President Obama sent U.S. envoy to get me home. Director of National Intelligence came to bring me home. So I am asking you, how can we rescue 25 million North Korean people? One is we need to remember. Two is we need to stand with them. That means not look the other way when they are suffering. Care and say, these people matter to God. They should matter to us as a Christian. There's no country like this in whole earth. There's every single difficult places will have access to Jesus somewhere, but not in North Korea. So, but I'll tell you the good news though. 2019 is a very important year for North Korea. Now there will be another summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. And then this will be make it or break it type of a year will be 2019. So would you remember the people in North Korea? Would you pray? I'm also running a prayer petition campaign. You can go to the prayer number 4, nk.org. There will be the website. You can go and sign your petition to God and say, Lord, I will pray for people in North Korea. I'll remember them. Even though I cannot go, I will remember and pray. Now 62 people, 3,500 people from 62 different countries have signed and joined hands together. We will stand, we will pray, we will remember people in North Korea. So you can pray for us as we remember the people in North Korea. Lord, thank you so much for remembering me when I was in North Korea. And thank you for praying for people in North Korea. God bless you.